Dear Lupinites, this team is Lupin Power. Mrs. Gupta has always been a great support to me and in many ways she deserves appreciation. All of you sitting here again are Lupin Power. This group will throw leaders of tomorrow. Every company has its inflection point. That's where Lupin is today. And as we see, we are fully geared for the big goal which should take us to a minimum $3 billion in sales with 20% PAT by year March 2013. Why this goal? Pharma is a great industry and a very exciting one. With a total market size of $837 billion, and the industry grew last year at the rate of 7%, and is expected to go to $1.1 trillion in 2014. As you all know, 70% of the world market comes from the triad of North America, Europe and Japan. We are very strongly positioned in US, whereby this part of the world is contributing sales of around 30% and profits around 50% of the company. They've been growing fastest compared to any other company from India or the world. They again have a large potential due to products worth $150 billion going off patent in the next 5 years. You could thus see that we have moved up our ranking in the total prescription in the US market from 10 earlier to 8 now. Lupin is very powerfully placed in the US today, and we are soon going to open the potential markets of Canada, Mexico and Brazil. Very interesting to know that a group of 7 countries by 2018 will become almost equal to the giants today, that is US and Japan put together. Reason obviously a low growth rate of US and Japan against pretty high growth rate of around 24% for these 7 countries. We are going to aggressively develop these markets and also create a strong position in other markets. We are reasonably strong. Our drugs reach over 70 countries across the world. In the last few years, we have added 6 more companies to the Lupin family, and it gives me pleasure to say that all of these companies are on an accelerated growth path of sales and profits. Friends, we have learned to manage cross-cultural diversity and optimize business. This gives us confidence of making further acquisitions as per our strategic plan. I should also add, acquisitions will continue an integral part of Lupin's growth. You know, research is the real backbone of our industry. It's a matter of great pride that around 10% of the people in Lupin are engaged in research, perhaps a unique distinction. Company today has over 700 scientists engaged in various aspects of the research at Lupin Research Park, Pune, and our R&D facility in Japan. These scientists have created a great reservoir of filings of products on a global basis, and this provides a very strong pipeline for the future on a continuing basis and should fuel our growth. I should also say our track record in basic research as of past is not so satisfactory. However, with all the changes made and strengthening done, I am confident of big delivery from them as well here on. Future research is coming substantially from biotechnology to create new biologicals of high value. We are in that too. Japan, being the second largest market in the world, has again performed well. Kyowa, our subsidiary in Japan, grew by over 23% and is one of the fastest growing generic businesses in the Japanese market. Another very powerful position of the company is our home turf, India. Lupin in India is growing at twice the industry growth rate and are going to further accelerate this rate of growth. I would add here, Lupin is a global company in the true sense, with India as the base, giving to the company Indian advantages. In fact, there are tremendous achievements made by each of the SBUs, of which your seniors are going to tell you. They would also tell you how we are going to achieve these goals, and Kamal is going to also inform you new opportunities which would be added to the company's fold during this period. These newer activities which are going to be added are OC, Opthel, Derma and Asthma, apart from some others which you will come to know as we go further in our growth path. These are relatively more exclusive areas which shall provide long-term growth to the company. Again, very interesting for you to know that to give sustainable profits, we have also planned that by the terminal year ending March 13, 15% of our sales is to come from specialties. This would provide sustainable growth, and I am confident of the research team providing the power behind for building this in other markets too. Perhaps you are already aware, Lupin has acquired 6 companies in the recent past, apart from 2 powerful brands. It's a great thing to say that all the acquisitions are accretive within the first year itself. I don't think many companies could claim this distinction. We have the financial power for pursuing our plans. One of our key strengths is vertical integration, whereby company covers the entire pharma value chain, that is intermediates, API to finished doses to delivery systems. This gives us big power in the business of generics. Lupin today has 9 state-of-the-art manufacturing locations in India and Japan, complying with best of global quality and regulatory compliance. As such, our track record in this respect is already commendable. However, to further equip us for online inspections, we would be working this year as a year of quality and compliance. I am sure with this you are convinced that Lupin has the right vision, we have a right strategy, and above all this, Lupin has a strong commitment of the people. You people all over the world, you provide Lupin power, you provide Lupin spirit. At some other time, I would tell you how Lupin spirit has made wonders in the company throughout. Our management style is empowering of people, which we are going to strengthen further. This growth is going to open up lots of opportunities and challenges for you. There has been any number of examples where once we decided to do something, we have always achieved and rather exceeded. I know you, and perhaps you also know me. With my knowledge of the organization, I would say that some of the very important aspects we need to address are smart and faultless execution. I take great pride in all of you, not only because of performance, which of course you have done, but your love for each other and the company. This needs to be further strengthened. No hierarchy barriers. It's wrong to assume that we know more than those working under us. Rather, to the contrary, it is known that substantial initiatives come from the shop floor. Take off symptoms of know-all. Innovation. Value and scope of this is tremendous in every aspect, and also gives a lot of satisfaction of the creative type when you practice in your work. Friends, company needs to be transformed. And this implies changes which are all in your hands. These aspects are very important since we are going into a lot of new areas, and the best guarantee for success is tapping of the collective wisdom of the company. With the knowledge and unshakable commitment, what you had wanted to achieve, you have. We have already achieved last year's Orbit 1 with sales of over $1 billion. Our next orbit, Orbit 2, is taking us to Vision 2013. Apart from achieving a turnover $3 billion, during this period, we shall also create a strong platform for Orbit 3, on which we just started working. Once we analyze our strengths and the emerging scenario and compare ourselves with the best companies of the world, entire scenario looks fantastic. I would say we need to further develop comparable strengths in basic research and biologicals. We are already at it. And here, India advantage, giving us advantage of the cost, again stands to our favor. Additionally, we have some other strengths, perhaps better than many of them. You know, a worthwhile company is one that has in mind social obligations as much as business. Through our product group and few things totally as required by this country, we created Lupin Human Welfare and Research Foundation, which have done a good job. However, my ambitions in this direction are very high. We are going to create a model, though we have to give the name formally. We are working on a project Change India. What we are going to do is select 2 to 3 districts which are most backward in different parts of the country, and hopefully they should create a model which would tremendously benefit the country. This model is taking care of economic development, health and education of the people. I would share this with you after details are finalized. We would also be working towards being, as early as possible, employer of choice. By this I mean, if anyone wants to build a career in the pharma industry, they should first come to Lupin. I'm sure there are a lot of areas in which we have to strengthen further. However, greater the challenge, the better it brings out the hidden potential in us. A young team is another Lupin advantage. I am convinced that Lupin has a lot of underutilized potential, which needs tapping systematically in the interests of people in Lupin and in the interests of the company. In fact, it is all about leadership. Lupin practices the highest standards of corporate governance. And this is also reflected in our board of directors, who are very eminent people. We work together so as to get appropriate guidance from them. Similarly, we also have one of the world's best auditors, Deloitte Haskins and Sells. We have achieved a lot. At the same time, a lot of work needs to be done further. At the end, I would say, backed by your passion and determination, we will not only achieve this challenging goal, perhaps better it. Before I close, I would like to share with you an example of the power of determination with passion. You may have read in various media this month itself about Jordan Romero, a 13-year-old American boy from California who is climbing Mount Everest as we speak. At the age of 9, he made it his goal to climb the highest summit in each of the 7 continents. He has already climbed 5: Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa, Mount McKinley in Alaska, Aconcagua in South America, Mount Elbrus in Europe, and Mount Vinson in Antarctica. Romero says it's not about setting climbing records, but it's part of his goal. There is no word like impossible in the dictionary of leaders. You are leaders. Don't think of incremental changes, but look for achieving big goals in line with what we have set for ourselves. Not just $3 billion, but more. I am convinced, as you are convinced, we are a great company. We have achieved great milestones. We are going to achieve, with the strength we have generated, much bigger milestones, and this will give not only a sense of great pride for you Lupinites, but perhaps all over the world. Wish you all the best of luck.